Hey podcast, just before we get you to this episode, I wanted to invite you to join us at pageantlaunch.com. We are starting the world's first dedicated pageant review site, and we want you to join our launch team. All you need to do is put in your email address. It's completely free. We are looking to make the pageant industry safe, transparent, and fair, and we'd love your input on how to do that. So head over to pageantlaunch.com, whack in your email address, and let's get you to this episode.
I'm Claire Beeby. I'm Miss Cumbria Galaxy 2019, and this is my interview with the Pageant Project.
Hello everyone, it's Adrian from the Pageant Project, and I have Claire Beeby, who is Miss Cumbria Galaxy 2019. Claire, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Claire was saying that it was a bit surreal to be here. I think it's the first time it's been described as surreal. Claire, I guess, how has everything been for you since Galaxy? I mean, I saw live Danielle was doing the winner of your MS division. She said it's been exactly a month, I think, since it all happened. How has life been for you since then?
Well, I was at work for a week after Galaxy. And then we went into lockdown. So I've been at home with my girls and my dog since then. So it's been Disney and baking.
I can imagine. Now I've got a few comments coming in, guys. If you have any questions for Claire or any messages of support, put them in the comments. I think that's Hannah has already said. Hannah Bradley has already said, "Hey Claire Beeby, so excited to see this." And I can't quite, sorry guys, the comment section is a bit too small, so I can't see who it's the first. I think you might be able to tell me who this is, Claire. It says D-A-N-A. It just says Dana. I think that's the first. Okay. And it's she said Claire, and then I think maybe a Laura. So we've got a few people. Guys, sorry, I can't quite see your names, but if you have any questions, put them in and I'll pass them on to Claire. Claire, let's start with the easy stuff. Can you give the people watching an idea of sort of your pageant history, your pageant background, and how you got involved to begin with?
Yeah, of course. So I started pageant in 2010. So I am also a class of 2010 for Miss England. Although I didn't win my heat, I came third runner up, and after that I was too old. So I aged out right after my first pageant.
Wow. Okay.
I then, after being too old, I was asked back by the Northwest Miss England organiser Mark Jones as a scout. So I helped scout for the next Miss Cumbria.
Wow.
And then, which was really good, the first year I scouted, I actually picked the next Miss Cumbria. So
you did well there.
Got an eye.
Yeah.
And then through scouting, I then went on to judging. But I think Mark knew that I still had that. I had that bug. I wanted to get on the stage again, and it just so happened that the year I competed in Miss Cumbria, my the choreographer for Miss Cumbria was Miss Cheshire, aka Holly Perry.
It's a small world, isn't it?
Yeah. So he said Holly started up her own pageants, Galaxy. So then my second pageant was actually Galaxy, and I did compete in Miss twice before I then went on to try and compete in Intercontinental. So I competed in Intercontinental 3 times, coming top 5 twice, I think it was, top 10, 2 top 5s. Competed in Miss Great Britain, won Miss Great Britain Best Smile, still no crown. Competed again in Intercontinental, which was Intercontinental International.
Yeah.
But I was actually too old for International, so I was only competing for intercontinental. And again, top 5, no crown. I then took more time on the judging side of things and concentrated on that for quite a while. And then I had my 2 little girls, left pageants for a little bit. Didn't think I'd come back.
Right.
But it was always there. And, I think it's when you've competed for so long and, I just missed being on stage. That's all I missed. It wasn't the want for a crown. It was that buzz you get when you're on stage that I really missed.
Yeah, I certainly have heard that many, many times before. Have you given any thought to what your future pageant plans are?
I have actually already applied for Miss Galaxy for next year.
Okay, I think that'll make a lot of people happy. It's amazing to me, because obviously that was the first time I've been to Galaxy UK, how many of the girls signed up for next year before we even left Chorley. They as soon as they got off the stage, as soon as the night was over, it was like they already put in their applications for next year. I think they were talking to Holly going, why aren't the application forms on the website? And we were still at the pageant. I've never seen anything like that before. We've got a few comments coming in. I won't read them all out, but guys, if you have any questions, obviously I'll read them out to Claire because she can't see them. We do have one saying Eleanor and Isabel are so proud. And Claire, you can go back to these afterwards and see, you can comment back to them. And also another one, Sue, proud of you, sweetheart. I think it's a Julie. Sorry, guys, I can't see your names fully. As you can see on the screen, it's cutting it off. But Julie has said, Sue, proud of you, sweetheart. And then there's a woohoo and a yes, it has. So, Claire, you obviously, you said, I didn't realize you had such a detailed pageant history. What made you decide to enter Galaxy? Obviously, you've competed in a few systems before. What got you to compete in Galaxy, and I guess what's bringing you back to Galaxy, given that you're going to be competing again next year?
Yeah, I think with Galaxy, it's about being you. I'm quite an awkward, geeky person. Like, I'm not this sassy kind of. I'm not articulate. I couldn't wow people with a speech, but I can be myself. And that's what I love about Galaxy. You bring yourself to the stage, and that's always stuck with me. And I don't know, just really dragged it. I've actually, before this year, I applied twice. The first time I was out, and I got a bit panicky and decided not to. Then last minute wanted to apply, but I was too late. And then the second time I fell pregnant with my second daughter, so I paid my deposit, but then had to pull out. And I even said to Holly, please don't completely remove me from this competition, because if I have her early, I will be on that stage.
Oh, that's dedication.
But yeah, it didn't work out that way. And I don't know. Pregnant.
I don't know if you've heard about it. There seems to be this ongoing joke with UK Galaxy that if you want to get pregnant, that you enter UK Galaxy and you fall pregnant. I think it's happened to enough.
Worked for me.
Well, that's a good side effect, I guess. So, Claire, you said you're geeky. Is there any particular way in which you're geeky? Because a lot of the pageant girls that I interview say they're not typical pageant girls, so much so that it's now a typical thing to say that you're not a typical pageant girl. But in terms of geekiness, are there any particular ways in which you're geeky?
Do you know, a lot of pageant girls have this sass about them, and I just don't have that sass. For me, I'd rather be chilling in my sweats with a Harry Potter book, I'm just not, I don't have that, things I get like this, my interview at Galaxy, for example, This is a good example. My interview at Galaxy, as I went to walk out, I was I normally shake hands now, but, with coronavirus, I can't, so I'll just do this. And I walked out and I was like, why did you do that?
You did what?
I went...
You look like you're waxing a car.
Exactly. And I stood there like, oh, hang on, look, my dog's trying to say.
I would have thought maybe like a wave like this or something, but
Well,
this is
that would have been the normal thing to do.
this is this is a new thing. I mean, interviews are often the most dreaded part, and for some people who started off dreading interview, it then becomes their favorite part. I mean, in terms of the competition, what parts do you like, and which parts for you are still a little bit challenging?
So interview is always challenging for me because, like I said, I'm not that articulate. I won't go into a room and I won't wow people. I can just be me. Another one that I've never enjoyed is fashion wear. I've always not really liked it because you're meant to be yourself in fashion wear and you're meant to show your personality, but I've never quite worked out how to do that. So
In clothes,
this year I took a different approach to it, and I sat down with my friends and I said to them, like, what do you think I should wear? What would show my personality? And that's how I came up with the suit.
Oh, that's right. I remember seeing that photo now. And it's interesting you say that about fashion wear, because I've actually had the exact same thought. And I think if I ever was to do a fashion wear round and I was supposed to show myself, I think I would dress in a suit too, because that's me.
Yeah.
It'd be either that or it'd be track pants and sports gear. There's no in between, if you know what I mean. So does that mean fashion wear and interview are the challenging sections? So out of the other sections, which one has been your favourite?
Swimwear.
Swimwear?
Every time. I love swimwear. I don't know quite what it is, but when I'm at home, I will complain and I'll moan, and I've got lumps and bumps that I don't like, and I've got stretch marks, and I've got all the rest. And, I'll moan about it and I'll complain. As soon as I'm in a pageant and I am in my swimwear, I feel incredible and none of that matters, and it's like it never existed. And I get up on that stage and I love life.
That's I've seen. First off, we've got Danielle. She's watching. She said hi, beautiful, and that she loved your fashion wear. Hannah has said your fashion wear was insane in all capitals. And we've got a question from Shaz. But just before I go around to that question, whenever I take on an interview, I always look through the Instagram, etc., just to have a look. And I've seen a photo of you. I think it was in your swimwear section, and you look extremely fit. So is there any particular, do you do anything sort of behind the scenes or any hobbies that are sort of gym related? Because that looks like a gym body to me. You don't get a body like that just by accident. So how did that happen? Because that's not accident.
That happened via sponsorship this year. Right. I had some wonderful sponsors, a local gym called Extreme Fitness. And Lee put me through my paces on their lean program. Right. So it's an 8-week program, and it's, instead of being on a diet, it's like a lifestyle change.
Nice.
So instead of starving yourself on rice and chicken for months, he tweaks where you're going wrong, and he encourages it. It's kind of like you're in a Facebook group. So you're taking responsibility for what you're doing as well as, so it's just brilliant. I'd recommend it to anyone. I never thought it would work for me. Yeah. Because I love my food, and I'm not great. I love pizza. I love burgers, like pulled pork burger, barbecue chicken pizza. I eat it every day. But there's a pageant girl. Pulled pork's on the menu on Extreme, so that helps keep me in the right direction.
Pol Potts, is it?
Pulled pork.
Pulled pork. Okay. I thought this was some brand I haven't heard of, because I keep hearing about these brands in the UK. I'm like, what's that? I'm a fan of anything that allows you to have pulled pork. But what do we got? Okay, so we'll go to the questions, and Shaz has a question here. She's also said body goals. So yeah, absolutely. Now Shaz has asked, anything you would change for next year?
Yes. I really need to change how much I put myself across on social media. I did have a couple of people who were in the final comment that I was the dark horse in the competition. And I thought, although that I don't take that offensively, I did find it a bit strange considering I'd been in pageants for 10 years that I was like the dark horse. Where I thought, is that because I haven't put myself out on social media enough and I haven't got my face out there, and I didn't really go to many pageants or anything. Obviously, having children, it's a little bit harder working full time.
Of course, yeah.
I'd also do a lot more appearances because, to be honest, my appearances were abysmal. I went for quality over quantity.
Yeah.
So I did things that meant something to me.
Of course,
more than I'm just going to get loads in.
Yeah, it's very difficult for someone in your position, obviously having children as well. And I know the quality over quantity debate has been sort of doing the rounds, but certainly getting your name out. I guess even if you do go to the appearance but you don't post it on social in this, or you don't post a few times at least on social, you don't take a story whilst you're there, it's almost like if it's not on Instagram, it didn't happen. I mean, in terms of, because you do have the kids, how difficult though, give people an idea, how difficult was it to schedule the appearances in around everything else, including work and children and things like that?
Yeah, it was more, I had to do more organised, so it was more races, giving blood, things that could be planned in advance more than just turning up on the day.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, Glenn has said, I don't know if this is the person who said was your sponsor, but he said, well done, keep it up. And we have a question from a Lisa asking, who is your inspiration?
Oh, pageant-wise, my inspiration would be Beth. I was going to say Greener, Beth Parr.
Beth Parr, yeah.
I absolutely adore Beth. She's just perfect. Like, I think she's brilliant. I always thought when I first saw Beth, she was, like she was untouchable. Like she was just so, but I came back, I actually judged one of the power pageants.
Yeah.
And she came straight over to me and she gave me a hug and a kiss, and I just thought, I was just like proper fangirling over it. And since then, like, we have conversations. She's been like such a great support for my Galaxy. I think she's incredible.
She, when was the first time that you saw her? Was it in one of the pageants you were competing in, one of the ones you were judging? How did you get to know her?
The first time, I think, was when I was competing in Intercontinental and International. I can't remember if she was competing that year, right, or if it was the year after she'd competed in International. Well, that's like my first memory of her. Seeing her, she was sat at the side, like smiling away, and she's got such like that big, beautiful white smile.
Yeah, she was actually, interesting fact, she was one of the first UK queens that I ever interviewed, after I interviewed Maria Torres all the way back then. And she was, I think, Beth Greenham back then, and now has subsequently become Beth Parr. Claire, if you have any more questions for Claire, whack them in the comments below. But Claire, outside of pageantry, the crazy world of pageantry, and I know now is a bit of a weird time with Corona and everyone being stuck indoors, but what normally would keep you busy outside of pageantry?
So I work full-time as a training coordinator, so that's Monday to Friday, and obviously I have my two girls, Eleanor and Isabel, so they keep me very, very busy. And I've got a border collie who you saw before, just sat by my side now, making the most of me being sat in the kitchen.
Very well behaved.
Yes, for a change. I've got the back door open just in case. So he keeps me busy too. Yeah, and apart from that, just pageants now.
Well, I mean, with two kids, I mean, you're going to be busy as it is. I don't know if that would leave much time for hobbies. Being stuck at home with Corona, has that been more difficult for you? Has it been easier? How have you found it?
I think with the situation, I've got to make the most of it because I'll never get this chance
Yeah.
to spend this much time with my girls again.
Yeah.
Working full time, so I'm just trying to make the most of that. I did learn today that I have definitely not inherited my mother's baking skills.
Did you give it a go? Did you?
I tried to make cookies, and basically they just all blended into one big tray bake mess. It just Ask Danielle. I sent her a picture. She said it looked good. I think she was lying.
Did you follow a recipe, or you just kind of made it up as you went?
Yeah,
Like, how did that go?
I followed a recipe. It just didn't work.
Where did you get the recipe from? Not the internet, I hope. Yeah, maybe. I don't think baking is that difficult. I think you just have to follow the instructions. But I think the whole pageant world has gone baking mad. I've never seen so many people making banana bread in my life. It seems to be banana bread, cakes. You're talking about cookies.
Yeah. Do you know what? It was funny because the first time I went to the supermarket, you couldn't get milk or bread. And then
Right.
about a week in to lockdown, I went to the supermarket and you couldn't get flour or
That's the thing that's missing in Australia as well, because everyone has started to bake their own things.
Yeah.
Right. You did have flour though for your cookies though, right? Because if you didn't have flour for your cookies, I know where you went wrong.
That's maybe what went wrong. It was shoved in the back of the cupboard from God knows when.
Maybe it's not your baking skills then. Maybe just see, once you get a decent bag of flour, give it another go. I mean, I'm sure your children will thank you for learning how to bake. You've got a question. Who put your shelf up? That's a question in the comments.
Who put my shelf?
Bit of a strange. Who put your shelf
who put
up?
that one up? I think it was my father-in-law.
It's a question from Vinny. Right. Okay. And you've got a question from Brad, which is, if you could give your younger pageant self a piece of advice, what would it be?
Oh, be yourself. I think when I first used to compete, I used to watch the other girls, and I'd watch how they walked on stage, and I'd watch what they were doing, and I'd try to copy them. And I kind of forgot who I was because I was too busy trying to do what they were doing.
Sure. How would you say that? I mean, you've been competing in pageantry, as you said, the first one was back in 2010. So how would you say that you've changed over those, well, it'll be a decade now. How have you changed or found yourself over those 10 years?
I think I'm definitely more comfortable in myself. I know who I am more than I did when I first started. In 2010, it was kind of a year of adventure for me. So I'd applied to compete in Miss Cumbria, which was completely out of my comfort zone. Just saw it, thought, why not? I'll go for it. I think it was a month after Miss Cumbria, I then went to Mumbai for a month with one of my best friends, Lisa, and we travelled around Mumbai working for a children's charity. And then it literally just after that, I just got the pageant bug, and it just stuck. And it's funny because I've never stuck at a hobby before. I've been one of those who's in and out of hobbies, and when I was little I did dancing and all sorts, and never ever stuck at a netball and hockey. My mum used to buy me all the stuff, and never stuck at anything, but pageants has it stayed with me.
Do you have any idea why it stuck with you so much?
I don't. I love being on stage. Like, I don't know. I just love that buzz that you get from being up there, and I love supporting other women, and I'm all
Yeah.
for women supporting women and strong, powerful women being up there just doing what they do.
Yeah. And you've mentioned already that you've already signed up for next year. Do you, when you're in the lead up for a pageant, do you have any sort of goals as to where you want to place, or is it more for you a case of you just want to give it your best, do your best, and whatever happens will happen?
Yeah, I'm definitely more like that. This year, I really wanted swimwear because of obviously being sponsored by Extreme and working so hard on that, but because it's always been my favourite and I've come close in the past.
Yeah.
And if I'd walked away with just if I'd got best in swimwear, I'd have been absolutely buzzing. That's like that would have been that. I even said to Rebecca when I was like, this is the one I wanted. This is all I wanted. So to Daniel came first runner up as well. I was gobsmacked. Just did not expect it.
There was they've just put out the UK Galaxy highlights a few days ago, and they showed all the winning moments, and there was a lot of emotion. How did it feel? Sort of stood there the final two.
Oh, it was just surreal. Like it was strange because normally that point, that's when I get really nervous and my tummy's doing flips, and I absolutely hate life during the crowning. Like it's just. I dread it, I really do. That's the part, and I always stand there thinking, why do I do this to myself? Like, I absolutely hate this part. So this time, for it to feel so natural, and I felt at ease and I was relaxed, and I think that's why I was so shocked as I got like top 10, brilliant. I was chuffed a bit too. I'd have been happy to stop there, but then top 5, I was like, wow. Like, and I was stood with the girls that I'd followed for ages, and I really was like incredible, like Jessica and Kelly. I was just like, Leah, like these were girls who had worked so hard. So it was like, and then to be second, like I was just like, what is going on?
I remember, I'm sure it was a photo of you. I think it was in the top 3 moment where you had a certain look. You looked like, I don't know, you'd seen a ghost or something. That was your photo, right? Because there were a couple of photos like that. But your face looked like, I don't know. So was this? Sorry, you go.
It was when they announced, when they said that Jess was the second runner-up.
Second runner-up, yeah.
And it was when it clicked in my head
that means you're in the top 2.
Like, what has happened? And obviously to be in the top 2 with Danielle, who's someone that I've watched and admired for years, and I followed her journey, and to think like, what, I'm in the top 2 with Danielle Latimer, like, what has just happened? Like, crazy.
I think the calling out of the top 10, top 5, and then 4th runner-up, 3rd runner-up, I think for a lot of people I think afterwards it's quite enjoyable, but I think at the time maybe traumatic is a way to describe it for some people. You said that you were calm. You were calm sort of as they were doing the crowning ceremony. Was that the first time you felt that?
That's the first time I ever felt like that. Like I think it's because I just wanted to be on stage again. That's all I really wanted, because I'd been away for 5 years and I hadn't got on stage and physically competed in 5 years. All I wanted was to be back on stage and to be able to do pageants. So the fact that I was up there, like I'd already won. So anything that came was just a bonus. And then to be first runner-up, like, oh, didn't expect it at all.
That's funny. I've interviewed a few girls who said sort of they've had maybe a little bit of a break, and then when they've come back and maybe they don't have that expectation, it's when they've actually done the best they've ever done. So you're not alone in that sense. We have another question from Brad. What was your hardest sacrifice? What was the hardest sacrifice you had to make whilst preparing for the pageant?
Well, probably pizza. That is because I just love pizza. Like, I will use any excuse to eat pizza.
How long, like, to what extent did you have to sacrifice pizza? Did you have no pizza in the lead up?
Well,
Did you only get to have it
no,
once a
in
week? Or
my 8 weeks while I was on lean, I
yeah,
didn't touch pizza, chocolate, anything like that. I was really
wow,
good. Yeah.
wow.
And
Okay,
that's not like
that
me
sounds
either.
tough.
Yeah.
So, was the first thing you did what was the first thing that you ate when you finished the pageant then?
Oh, what was it? I think I was eating. Oh, as soon as I got back, I was eating crisps that my little girl had left. So it was literally just scouring the room for anything she'd left. So it was little mini eggs and crisps as soon as I got back in the room.
As it should be. Good to hear. Joe has said, "My sister, so proud." Danielle has said, "Love you so much. I'm so honored to have been holding your hands in that moment." And we have a question from Dana. How do you pick your outfits?
Oh, so like I said, my fashion wear, my friends actually, my girls helped me pick that out.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't sure where I was going with fashion wear, and I'm a bit of a daydreamer. So in my head, I will think up this amazing fashion wear, and then I'll just daydream about it, and then it's like 2 weeks before the competition, and I haven't done anything about it. So it was literally like 2 weeks before, and the girls that we come together, and they were like, oh yeah, this, and look at that, and everyone was having a look through different things, and then I saw the suit, and I saw the sequin suit. So it was between a red velvet suit and a sequin suit.
Wow,
And
a red velvet suit.
Yeah.
Don't think I've ever seen one of those. Of red velvet cakes, talking about baking, yes, but a red velvet suit.
Yeah, the red velvet suit or the sequin suit. And because I thought that obviously before the Galaxy, it's been black and sparkly in the background.
Yeah.
So I was a bit like, oh, am I taking a risk? Am I just going to blend in with the curtain in the background? And then luckily we got there and they changed it all to grey.
They changed it this year, yeah. A lot of the girls had been talking about how it's black, the black background, so you can't wear anything black, and then it changed. So I think that worked out quite well for a lot of people.
Yeah, so I was chuffed a bit when I'd realised that it had changed. The rest of my outfits, I'm very last minute, I'm very unorganised. So my swimwear was literally arrived the day I left for Galaxy. And
that's cutting it a bit fun.
My mum was going mad at me. She was shocked. And as did my interview dress as well for the rehearsals and the date. That arrived the day that we left. So that was when we had to leave. As soon as they arrived, we set off.
I found that pageant girls seem to be in one of two camps. Either they're hyper organized, or they're hyper, I wouldn't say disorganized, that might be a bit unkind. I think it's more like spur of the moment.
No, I'm disorganized. You can label me that.
Danielle likes to refer to herself as a free spirit. I think that might be a kind of way of saying the same thing. Is there any chance of the red velvet suit making an appearance next year, or is that?
Oh, I think I'm going to keep my fashion wear for next year. I think that
sounds good.
The one I'm going to keep.
Sounds good. If you find something that's you, I think you got to keep it. Dana has asked, do you have someone doing your makeup on the day, or do you do your own?
No, I actually did my own. I can't, with having 2 kids, it's packages can get very expensive, and I find that the cost mounts up and up and up. So my makeup I did myself, my hair I did myself. A lot of my outfit, in fact, the majority of my outfits were all in the sale. I don't think I paid full price for any of. And I even said this in my interview. They asked me what would I do if I went on to win the title, and I said that I'd like to to show girls that it doesn't need to cost thousands of pounds to compete and do well. Like, you can, if you shop around and, you know, you get sponsorship. And my dress, my evening gown, that was porcelain scarlet, and it should have been hundreds and hundreds of pounds, and it was a dress that I'd looked at and I dreamed about and I'd wanted for ages. And I noticed a boutique in Essex, so completely the other end of the country from me.
Right.
They had a sale, but there wasn't any of the dresses on that I'd liked. So I just emailed them to see if there was anything else, because obviously I wasn't going to be able to visit because it was that far away.
Yeah.
And she actually said, yeah, I've got a couple in your size. Would you be interested in? And she did me an amazing deal. And she made my dreams come true with my evening wear. Like, I'm so in love with it. I was chuffed a bit. So yeah, Finique, if anyone needs a dress.
Very nice. I mean, you're dead right. I mean, pageantry can be a very expensive hobby. And some of those dresses are eye-wateringly expensive. Claire, just before we go to the final 10, first off, is everything okay in the background? I can hear someone sounds like a bit of a tantrum.
But sorry, I lost you there a little bit.
Is everything okay in the background? I can just hear sounds like there's someone unhappy in the background.
Oh no, I think my little girl's playing in the living room and there's some dogs barking outside. Not my dog, right. Though. He's here nuzzling my leg.
Okay. We'll go towards the wrap up so you can get back to your busy life. Just before we go to the final 10, do you have anyone that you want to give a shout out to, or just say thanks to for supporting you along your journey?
I don't want to miss anybody out.
That's always a problem. You can sidestep. You can sidestep that question just by saying thank you to all my friends and family. You guys know who you are. That's actually the best way of doing it. But if you want to try and name them all, then go for it.
Right, let me try. And I'm sorry if I miss anybody. So I'd like to thank, obviously, my mum. Everyone goes for their mum, don't they, first? Like, she's just a legend. She puts up so much with me, and with me being organised, bless her, she pulls out. She'd even said, like, next year, that's it. She's not coming next year. She's, you know, I've stressed her out enough with Pageant.
She can't do it anymore.
She'll be there. She just says she won't. And my Pageant manager, Natalie, who's one of my best friends, she's the one who keeps me organised. Well, tries to keep me organised. Tries to keep me on track. Yeah, tries to keep me calm when I'm panicking the night before because I haven't done a million things I should have done. My best friend Lisa, who has followed my pageant journey since day one, she was there at the Miss Cumbria final with her mum. She was there at the Galaxy final just gone with her mum. They both were there, and it meant the world for them to both be sat there after 10 years to still be putting up with me. My little girl Eleanor, she's like my biggest fan and my biggest critic. She'll tell me how it is. She really does, and she actually attended a lot of my appearances with me, so that was really nice. That's also how I got around a couple of people to take it with me. Obviously Holly and Maria wouldn't have been there without them. Mark Jones from Miss England, because I would have never caught the bug without him, and I never stuck at it. All my friends, all the pageant girls, all the Ms girls, all the Mrs girls, because on the day, the Ms and the Mrs girls, we felt like one big group. Like, at one point, if you were to ask me who was a Ms and who was a Mrs, I'd have
wouldn't have been able to tell.
Like, everyone was just fantastic. Danielle, for just being an incredible queen. All my friends and family.
You've done well. You've done well. You've covered all your bases. You tried to name everyone, and then you just put all the friends and family at the end. So if anyone is upset that they've been missed out, you can just refer to that part, because Yeah, obviously, I think it's like it takes a village to raise a child. I think it takes a village to support a pageant queen through her journey.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Claire, let's go through the final 10 questions. It is not rapid fire. As Danielle actually thought in her first interview, she thought she had to answer really quickly. You don't. You can answer as quickly or take as much time as you want. But the final 10. So number 1, what is your favorite word?
Favorite word? Fearless.
Very nice. Number 2, what is your least favorite word?
Oh, in a certain context, the word sound. But when it's said as in, yeah, all right, when someone goes, yeah, sound, I'm like, oh.
That's an unusual one. I don't think I've ever heard that one before.
Yeah.
Question 3, in life, what gets you excited? What turns you on?
Being on stage.
As you've mentioned multiple times, absolutely. So question 4, what turns you off?
Ooh. Rude people with no manners. Oh, especially when they're driving. I get really mad if you stop to let someone past and they don't give you that little wave that takes a second. I'm like, why wouldn't you?
Yeah,
Holding the door open, say thank you. It's just little things.
Absolutely. Now, question 5, you mentioned the word sound, and I do have to ask you about sound, so hopefully that's okay. Question 5 is, what is your favourite sound or noise? What sound or noise do you love?
When my little girls proper belly laugh. When they're in his set, like, oh, it's just, if I could bottle it up, I would be a millionaire. Like that, it's just incredible, that sound of them proper, like, cackling their little heads off.
And what sound or noise do you hate?
Sound or noise I hate? Probably the dog. When he wants out, which is a good thing because he tells me he wants out, he does this really annoying repetitive yap, and it's like, stop it.
I can understand that, yeah. Question 7 is probably the most pageant-esque question. Question 7 is, if you could have any one superpower, what would you pick and why?
Ooh. Now, I would have said time travel, but I know that Megan said that, didn't she, in her interview?
There have been a few people who've said time travel, to be fair. It's more than just Megan, yeah.
Yeah, because I would have said to go back to live Galaxy again and again. But I think also flight. I would love to be able to fly because I feel like the one thing I'd want to do that I haven't done is travel the world a bit more.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'd love to fly.
Sounds good. Question 8. What job or occupation other than your own would you most like to attempt?
Ooh. Can I be unrealistic here?
No, you can be as unrealistic as you want. I've had people say they want to be Beyonce, so I mean you can shoot for the moon.
Oh, okay. I would love to be a WWE superstar.
Who is your favorite WWE superstar?
Nikki Bella.
I saw Nikki Bella recently, not in person. She was I follow Gordon Ramsay, and he had both the Bella twins on a sort of a cooking show with him, and that was because they're so competitive, the two Bella twins. I can't believe I'm talking WWE, but also they just, I think they had, was it WrestleMania that they just had, and they had to do it to an empty stadium?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
It seemed dead awkward. It was really strange.
It would be. I love The Undertaker. I mean, first off, I can't believe he's still around, but because I thought he'd retired, but I was like, what? He's back again? And then apparently I mean, you'd know, he came out not in his dead man persona, but on a bike. So that was unexpected. There you go.
It's maybe like pageants. Once you've started, that's it. You can't give it up.
Have you, I mean, you said you're a daydreamer. Have you ever worked out what your signature move would be if you were in WWE?
Oh, no, I haven't. Me and my little girl will pretend to do Brie mode on the bed. So we will do Brie mode.
You have to. If you're going to be a WWE superstar, you have to come up with your signature move. I mean, that's part of...
That's what I'll have to think about.
You also have to work out whether you're going to be a good guy or a bad guy in the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
You know, okay. Well, that was unusual. I enjoyed that. Question 9. What job or occupation other than your own would you definitely not like to attempt?
Oh, a politician. Because I'd be useless.
I am feeling for politicians at the moment with everything that's going on. It's just a thankless job. I don't normally have much sympathy for politicians, but at the moment I do, because it's an absolutely horrible time. Danielle has said, I love the Bella twins. Okay, I can't believe we're talking about wrestling. This is the first I've never talked about wrestling, and I don't watch a lot of wrestling because it's difficult to get on free-to-air TV here. But yeah, I've loved wrestling for the longest time. I don't care that it's fake. Yeah. I mean, of course, well, that never really surprised anyone.
Real. You're not meant to say that.
At least they all admit it now. Trying to keep up this pretense that it was real is a bit silly. Anyway, final question, Claire. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
I'd love them, to say... A couple of years ago, I lost one of my beautiful pageant queens. So I'd love them to say that she's been waiting for me.
That's beautiful.
So, like, the sky's been waiting.
That's beautiful. Okay. Well, Claire, you've got a load of comments and questions still there. So I'll let you, when you're ready and you've had a bit of a break, go back through and you can see and reply to all the messages and questions that you've got there. But thank you so much for your time.
No, thank you. It's been amazing. Can I just say as well before I go, I just want to say a big thank you to our NHS and our key workers who are just keeping our country going at the moment, because it really does, like, a lot of us are sat at home and all we need to do is to stay put, sit on the sofa, chill, not leave the house, and them guys are going out to work to try and keep our country going. So just, help them do their jobs, and
Absolutely.
We'll get through this.
Absolutely. Well said. I think the pageant community is being very sensible about it, which is good to see. There's just a few other people who are being a little bit selfish, I think, but I think the pageant community as a whole has been very, very good with it, which has been amazing. Okay. Well, Claire, thank you so much for your time, and thank you to everyone for watching and commenting, and we will speak to you next time.
Well, thank you.
What's up, guys? It's Adrian again. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Remember to head over to pageantlaunch.com, join our launch team for our review site. It's super important to all of us to make sure that the industry is safe, transparent, and fair. So head over to pageantlaunch.com, write in your email address, and we'll speak to you next time.